to breathe and give ourselves some space. And the third activity was the circular pipe that we use with our fingers. So for this exercise, we acknowledge that we all have different strengths and weaknesses, and we try to work as a team, irrespective of our individual pace. We must all work as a team in order to succeed. So with the pipe we used, we had some were short, some people were taller, some were faster and slow. So we learned that as a team, if we are to succeed, we need to work as a team and give each other backup. The final activity for that day was the corporate dilemma, where we had 3 teams: the top management level, the mini management level, and the lower management level. So we learned that for an organization to succeed, we need effective communication all through the levels. From top management to down management, we need to communicate well for us to understand our goals, what we want to achieve, how we can achieve them. And also, we learned that we need to coordinate, because we learned from that exercise, the top management level was just busy solving problems, not looking at what is happening in the middle management or the lower management. So for us to succeed, every level we need to coordinate for our success. So we came back to class and we have the Clinton set assessment, where we had to log into the app to answer over 200 questions. And at the end of the questions, we had our 5 strengths that we are going to work on. And next to that was the health and wellness talk from Rob Starkey. So for me, we learned that to always take care of ourselves and find time to rest and always be positive, because we don't as leaders, we tend to overwork ourselves. So that health and wellness was all about self-care and how to take a break and be positive about what you do. The next was the business etiquette from Karen, where she talked about the culture and norms and beliefs of the American citizens. So she talked about the history of the United States, how many states constitute the US. She gave some graphics about the different races, the languages, the gender. She also talked about personal and business etiquettes like handshake, when to let go of an handshake, how strong it should be, eye contact, time management, responding to emails, because most of us have issues with our focus project CEOs, like to advise us when to respond to an email, when to go back to check on an email and do another review. Like you should take some days off, rest, and then come back and also effective communication also. She gave us tips about how to manage our time well. She said that we should set our goals, we should prioritize what we want wisely, we should just sometimes say no when you think you need a rest, just say no. And most times you have to plan ahead and eliminate distractions. If you want to manage your time well, these are the steps that she gave us on that day. And for the end of the day was just host family visit, where myself and my roommate get to meet with our host family on the evening. So that was then we had lunch. Let me don't forget about lunch and dinner. So those are the best parts of the day. So we had lunch and dinner, and then we went to our host family visit. The following day was Karen's birthday. We came to class and then we sang a very good birthday song. Again, for the first session, we had communication training session by Jana Sanders Perry. She told us that all of us here have a story to tell, and we should not be ashamed or be shy to tell your story, and that we should use the social media effectively, because now we have social media in control. We should use it effectively. She gave us the apps that we can use, the LinkedIn, the Instagram, Facebook, to tell our story, or we can either use videos. If you know you cannot talk, you can use pictures or videos of yourself, or if you can talk, you do public speaking, or if not, you can write to tell your story. She also offered us, admonished us and encouraged us to write articles, to develop articles, if you want to do it individually or as a group. And she offered her office that if you want help, she can help with reviewing your work and also publish and amplify your work on the Global Affairs website. Next to that session was the panel on citizens engagement and policy making, where we had Bob, who is the Assistant Director of Housing Resources. We had Stan, the Director of Public Works and Utilities. We have Diane, Director of Parks and Community Services. Suzanne, the Vice Chair of Sacramento Parks, and Bapu, the member of the the member of the Davis City Council. So most of their talk were based around policy development. What are the strategies they use to develop policies? What has made the policies to be successful? And so from their session, we learned that for policies to be effective, it must start from the beginning of the policy development through community engagement. So for them, what has been working for them is They normally do develop apps that they can share to gather information from the community about the policies that they want to develop, or they can attend community services or activities, or they can do one-on-one engagement to the community for them to have their say on the policy that they want to develop, so that everybody collectively have a say on the policy, and once the policy is developed, then it will be effective. So the importance of communication also in leadership is, I think that was, for that panel, we had a lot of questions that we asked as leaders. We are always anxious to emulate these best practices to take back home. So we asked a lot of questions, and they could not even answer all of them. So they left their emails for us to continuous engagement. And we had photos after the session. The next session was the science communication by Colin Murphy. Colin talked about the importance of communication, and that he said that we leaders are all scientists, because science is an act of solving problems, and we all are solving problems, and we should not be shy about being scientists, even though science has technical issues, but being that you are solving a problem, it means that you are a scientist. And also, we must learn how to tailor our communications to the context of our audience. We all have different audience, and one form of communication will not work for all of us. So you should understand the context of your audience, and then tailor your information for you to have the best feedback. He also admonish us to find an occupation that suits us, that you think you can do, and don't need to succeed. This is a quote from him that he said, you don't need to succeed at everything to be successful. So for us as leaders, he said we can just take things at a time. It doesn't mean we all have higher standards that we want to achieve. He said that you don't need to achieve all of them for you to be successful. You can achieve one and be a successful leader. So on that, at the end of that, we had a video of Karen where we all made short birthday statements for her in the morning, and it was played up in the TV, and she was like, oh my. And then we presented our different gifts to her for her birthday, and we went out for lunch. I think that's all for these 2 days. I hand over to you.
Okay, thank you. So Wednesday and Thursday were 2 exciting days, as we had the opportunity to visit 2 main institutions in California, I would say. So on Wednesday, we were privileged to visit the Secretary of State of California. When we arrived, we were warmly welcomed by the deputy, who gave us a brief introduction to the Secretary of State that we were supposed to meet. And afterwards, she came, and I think the highlight of the day was her welcoming, answering our questions, and also giving us the certificates. So one of the things I learned from her presentation, we asked so many questions that I don't think I should mention all of them. Yes, but then if I'm to summarize one answer to all the questions we made, is that she said something that we need to use what we know to transform the world. And I think everything she shared with us was based on that, from her professional experience, how she went from being a professor, actually the first Black American lady to be a Secretary of State in 103 years. So how she went from being just a woman in her community to making impact she said that she was just trying to make an impact. So she didn't get to politics because she had a certain type of ambition, but she just wanted to be somebody who makes a change in her community. So that's one thing I learned from our meeting with her. And then secondly, we also had the opportunity to meet with the different staff that work at the Secretary of State, from the HR to finance and IT, and all of them shared an overview of what they do in their specific work field. Afterwards, we had a tour at the museum where they showed us documents that have been kept for 100 years and so on. And it was also a lesson to see that in the US, they are able to keep their history, and they're able to learn from the past. So they have all those data well kept. And then we had a networking lunch, which was also amazing, with Cassandra Pai. I think we really enjoyed the session with her. She was open. She answered personal questions to us about who we should be in society, and how truthful we should be with ourselves, and then be truthful to others. She showed us that we should keep our identity as well. When she mentioned she has a lipstick, which is her identity, red is her color, and when she puts it on, she feels confident. So she also shared with us the importance of keeping our identity and our confidence. And then afterwards, we had a last session with Leon Randolph, and then we traveled back to this. I think that was basically what happened on Wednesday. We had our instruction time, we had dinner, and then some people went for the farmers market. I don't know much of what happened there because I didn't go. And then on Thursday, again, we had another chance to visit the state capital, which was also a very remarkable experience, as we were warmly welcomed by the senators. I think it was really a privilege that they read about us, and then they introduced us to everyone. And then we also joined shortly the session where they were discussing the state budget. And I think it was really an insightful one to see how in America they discuss their budget, how transparent it is. Yesterday, even in the video I mentioned it, that I like the fact that they are very transparent, that every information is available to the public. They mentioned that when they set the budget, you can literally go online and see what your tax money is being used for, which I think is a great thing that should be a take home for us. As we are leaders, when we get the chance to do things that involve money, we should be transparent and let people know what their monies are being used for. So that was a highlight for me. And also the lunch we had with Senator Bradford, where he taught us about California state government, the legislature, the budget process. We basically learned about the direct democracy, constituency feedback, civic engagement, and he also answered our questions. So he basically gave us an overview of how the state of California works, how they go from selecting the people that lead the state to how they decide their policies and how they implement them, and also how they set their budgets. Too much information. I think we're actually going to ask everybody to share one thing that they learned. And then we traveled back to Davis. I'm sure most of us afterwards were working on Ignite Talk because our hearts are really, we're under pressure, but it's fine. And they also had a meeting, fellows meeting, and which I think was also a very great thing to see that we are all united, and we are interested on making the best out of this fellowship experience. So that was basically it for Wednesday and Thursday.
Thank you. So at this point, we'll open the floor for you guys. I'm sure you have experiences to share. We've learned a lot this week. There are some things that you're already thinking of how to go back home and operate differently. There are some learnings that will impact what you're already doing. So the floor is open to anyone who wants to share for Monday. We're not restricting it to any day because we've given summaries for all the 4 days. So whether it's the leadership session, the trip to the capital, the games, or any of the presentations, our engagement with the council members, anything that you'd have to share so that we all learn together. Oh, okay,
maybe something that is very general. Yeah, they've explained about the individual days in the week, but as a team, we are also coming more closer. And I think there are a lot of experiences that we have been able to gain throughout the week, like this Monday. And one of the things that is really standing out for us this week is the realization that we want to do a publication on learning codes. So we have agreed on that, and we are working on that already. So we have been collecting learning codes, especially like those things that our instructors say and they're not documented. They just speak it out, and we feel this is something very important. So we have decided to do that. We have started it. We are going to be documenting every day, and at the end we are going to work out a strategy if we can do this better with UC Davis Global Affairs, to have it like a publication and like our contribution to academic materials that are going to be used for the next cohort of scholars. So that is something that I wanted to mention as something that is coming out of us from the week, and we are up to it. Yeah.
Anyone wants to start?
Anything that you think we left out?
Yes,
you want to add?
please go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like we have to appreciate the panel because they did a great job. Thank you guys for going through all the work we've been doing all this week. And thank you for not forgetting some. It's really amazing how we've gone through it. Now, all we've been doing is about leadership, going to Sacramento, visiting different persons, getting inspired by different persons. It's all about leadership. Now, as you had the chance to be the first panel, I want you guys to, one after each one, to give us at least one thing that you recognize that you've been doing bad, that you change when you are back home, and one thing that you recognize that you are doing well, that you need to improve. This may be for us a very helpful thing to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing that your question. Did you do well as an individual or as a group?
Yeah.
You as a leader country, as a leader.
No, okay, so the question is, based on what we have learned here, what's the one you're going to
Yes.
take back home? Is that your question?
Yeah. Maybe you've recognized that there is some point in your leadership system that is not working good, that you need to change.
Okay.
And there is another that is working good, maybe that
That
needs
you want to
be
improve on?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to start actually? Okay. Okay, let me start. So for me, and I think I've learned a lot this week. First of all, the exercises we had on Monday, the one with Oliver, the sessions, the third one, the corporate dilemma exercise, where I was in the first one, the way we were so I can't tell you, we were so engrossed into trying to find solutions to the puzzle. When the objective of the game was there, we read out the objectives, but nobody was paying attention to that. So the way we were very easily distracted from the main goal of the activity is something that really got to me deeply. And I think going back, I'm involved in a lot of leadership projects. It's a call on me to try and refocus and get back on track. Make sure that multitasking, yes, is part of management, leadership management at the top level. But then you should never take your eyes off the ball. There are all of these other things that keep you busy, but the main focus is the people you're carrying along, the people you're working with, the people who are there to execute the task. The second thing for me this week was our session with the Secretary of State. I asked her a question about the fact that she could have stayed in academia. She was a professor at 23, she was doing well. She was chair of a department at San Diego State University. She was doing it for 40 years. She was basically a boss in her field. But then she thought, okay, California has given me so much as an individual, and I feel like I need to give back to society. For that reason, I'm going out of my comfort zone, which is academia, and go into politics, because that is where I can make the biggest impact and the biggest difference. And it really, really resonated well with me, because I am comfortable in my field. People tell me to go out for political positions where they feel like I can make a difference, I can talk to people, I can drive change. And then I tell them, I don't think politics is for me. No, I can't do ABC. I'm always giving excuses when political opportunities come to me. So for me, what she has done, where she came from and where she is now, is a push for me to go back home and say that no, I'm no longer giving excuses. I cannot just sit in my field and think, oh, I'm in the environment space, I work in the government and it's okay because I get my salary, I go home, I do 1 or 2 projects and that's enough. No. To make the kind of change I want to see in my country, I need to be in certain positions of power. And unfortunately, that comes with political involvement. Some of the activities that may be required of me, I may not be comfortable with, not in terms of values, but in terms of putting myself out there. And I think that really talking to her just reminded me that I need to make that effort, I need to make that courageous step, and I need to stop hiding. So for me, that is the main, that's the main thing I'll take back home, the 2 main things.
Okay, for me, I think all this while I've been having challenge in managing my time. I have a very big problem with my boss when it comes to accomplishing tasks, because I have a lot to do and I don't know how to prioritize what I should do. So this past week have helped me to know that to prioritize what I should do and try to match up with my pace and my time, and to just give myself a break. I am overstressed, overworked, and at times I get myself and I've not done anything for myself. So I've learned also to appreciate myself, that I've been doing well, even though I'm not accomplishing everything. Like from the quotes from the guy, the man that spoke about communication science. You do not need to succeed in everything for you to be successful. Even one thing that you do for a day makes you a successful leader. So for me, I take that personal because I find myself doing everything and not accomplishing something. So I think I have to learn how to manage my time well and also appreciate myself, because I've been doing much, but I've not been seeing it for myself. And I think that I need to give myself a break and appreciate myself for what I'm doing.
Okay, so for me, I'll start with the negative thing. I think that one thing I was doing wrong in my leadership position was not being flexible. Something happened today in the game we had, the last game where we were throwing the balls. So I was always throwing it in a way that was comfortable and I felt I could do the best. And then Oliver walked to me and said, I think you should put your feet in this particular way and throw it this way. The first thing that came to me was like, no, I'm doing it this way that is comfortable for me, so I should keep it that way. And I nearly kept it that way because I felt like I could manage. But I had to be flexible. I was getting the work done, of course. The balls fell a few times. It was getting there. But when I moved from my comfort zone, and it wasn't comfortable for me to stand like this and leave my hand. But when I did that, it changed everything. I don't think I lost the ball from that. So I learned that I need to be more flexible and receive advice. Because for me, sometimes I feel like if I'm doing things this way, it should be that way. Like, it's difficult for me to change my strategies because I feel like, okay, I figured out how I should do this and that should be it. But then sometimes somebody who is more experienced knows, has gone through it, has done it in a different way and is better. So I should be able to receive. Even if I had tried it, it didn't go well, at least I tried it, and then I can now compare and say this one works best for me than this one, rather than not trying at all. And then one positive thing that I would say I'm already doing and I should continue doing is to dare things. Many times I feel like I don't know how to do something, and even sitting here is a challenge for me, but with all the fear, with all the doubts, I just decide to go ahead with it, and I think that's really helpful, and I should continue doing it.
Oh, good. Yeah, for me, one thing that really stands out personally is number one, the strength that we have been able to identify for like each individual person. The strengths are very important because for me, first of all, they opened my mind. Like for me to know what areas I'm good at and what are the things that I typically don't have. And I think it's good to understand that this is my strength and I should capitalize on it rather than striving and forcing yourself onto some angle that you're really not good at. So that is really eye-opening for me. And the other thing that I think I have been doing well, there's still room for improvement, and that's why we are here. Yeah. I am a leader back home. I lead a team. I have probably 2 different teams that I'm leading at work. And for me, the best thing of these exercises that we are doing with Oliver, they are really training me to trust on my team, to trust on each individual ability to provide a contribution into the teamwork, and not to be disappointed if someone fails. There's always a chance for someone to learn and try again, and together we can do it better. So those are the 2 things that really stand out for me as a person and as a leader.
Please, anyone else? Is there something you'd like to share? Yes, please.
Which is a one scary thing which you have done this week? Something completely new and scary. This is just to the panel, as you're in front.
It's scary.
That's a good question. A challenging one. Something
Scary, like
Getting on the bus here for the first time, getting lost
Okay.
Hey,
And can I say
bye,
something?
guys.
One scary thing for me was the game where we had to walk backwards. I had to trust you to get me. So my shoe even removed on the way, so I had to literally trust you. And the other one that we had to cover our eyes as well. I was literally depending on you. I could have fallen. That was scary. I mean, so I was just telling someone, please make sure I'm walking on the right.
I think for me the food, a lot of it is new for me. But I'm trying really, really hard.
Charming you up.
It's not charming.
I'm trying hard to not stay away from it because I'm in America and I need to eat American food. You know, I need to fully experience America, and eating a lot of new food is part of it. So when I go to a restaurant, I try to get different things from different places that I don't even understand what their names are. And also biking because it was.
It's not scary. It's scary
No,
for
it was for me because
myself
I.
and Dee.
So
Scary for me.
I can actually speak to that. The biking thing, I know it can be scary for
Yeah.
you because it's personal. But for me, trust me, even my kids have tried a lot of times to get me to bike. I have never tried at home. In fact, I have never held a bike like this. But here, you guys, I don't know what you did to me.
It's magic.
Yes, it's magic. I could touch the bike. I can literally use my 2 fingers. So I think that is still very scary for me. But something inside of me is telling me that one day you're going to do it.
Yeah.
One day you're going to be better at it. So I think it's very scary, but yet I'm not going to stop. I'll keep trying. Yeah.
Any more? It can be a statement. It doesn't have to be a question.
What as a group, so I'm just talking about you four working together, have you learned about how to manage other people, maybe way of working or leading things, and maybe how will you, what would you maybe change or improve in your way of communicating with each other and in the way of representing also our work? Because I think that when we were also meeting those people, you were also the people that were representing our group. So do you feel like you could have maybe do things differently or anything?
Yeah, for the communication, I think we need to work more on our communication, because for us to have this to us to sit here today, we had to go back and forth about how to do it, who to do this, and it was somehow chaotic. And then we get to a point where maybe I was misunderstood by Huda when I was telling her that Dee has something to do. She was like, it's a secret. So maybe I should have come out plain to say Dee has something to has to give the speech in the evening, so let's just exclude her from this presentation. But I think we need to work on our communication skills, because at that point I felt, oh, so I didn't mean it was a secret, but I should have explained to her for her to understand what actually Dee has to do. I was just saying Dee has something to do. Dee has something, until Dee herself said I have to give a speech in the evening. That's, and everyone was like, you were saying something as if it's a secret. So for that, I think we need to work on ourselves better for us to coordinate well. And for the presentations that we are doing all this while, we didn't even think that because of where you weren't presenting today, we just thought that you were just on the spot to just give. So except until you got it now and begin to reflect back that you are giving us because we are the ones that are going to do the recap for the week. But that's what was just continuous for me. What I think that was obvious was us getting to come to agreement as to who to do this and when to do it. And we need to get, I think for future engagements, we need to work better to get better understanding of, because we didn't prepare well. We only started yesterday the preparation. Yesterday after the meeting, that's where we started preparation. So we need more time to prepare and then communicate better.
I think what I'll add is I want to commend all of us for being courageous enough to go first this week, because when we're told we're going to reflection and feedback, none of us had an idea of what we were going to do. Nobody knew what it meant or what it required of us or what other task may come our way. But 4 of us were assigned to do this week, so I really want to commend us for showing that courage. And even the individual tasks that have come along, like presenting the speaker. You know, initially Jenny asked for people who want to present speakers at our engagements, and I think 4 people raised their hands. It wasn't our task to do that. We weren't told to. At the venue, she just came and said, oh, present this, read this. It was on the spot. But again, as leaders, we showed up and just got it done. So I just want to commend all of us for basically just showing up and getting things done.
I just want to add on the last, Buddha's point about, for example, yesterday, like you're going to present this to the speaker and show appreciation on behalf of the group. To me, actually, it struck the concept of active listening. Because frankly speaking, I wasn't really listening at the beginning. So when Jane came to me and told me you're going to do this, I was like, okay, what is her name?
What did she say? It's like an
Yes.
It's
So
just
really,
summarizing
I am
what
being
she said.
open. We are learning here. We are leaders. I think it's important to be active listeners anywhere we go, because you don't know what's the next thing that is going to happen. So for me, yesterday was an eye opener. Like seriously, Devota, you were not listening. Now you have to gather yourself, understand who
What-
she is,
what she has
what she's
said.
talking, what this is all about. So I'm saying this because I think it can help someone.
Yeah.
Let us be active listeners at every point and at every session that we are meant to be, because you don't know what's gonna come next. Yeah.
I just want to add to what they all said is that I want to commend us for being able to come up with a strategy, even though we had no clue of what you guys were expecting. Because even when we asked Jenny, she just told us it's no stress, do what you want. So, do what you want. I mean, what are we supposed to do? But for us to be able to even come up with a strategy in such a short time. Yesterday, I like the fact that we all took it seriously. They came to the room, we discussed what we need to do, and even this more try to coordinate so that we don't come here and disappoint. So that's one quality of a leader. Even when you're given a short time and you're, sometimes Oliver will say, just do it. So what am I supposed to do? But you have to think fast. You can't just give excuses, oh, I don't have a starting point. Come up with something. That's what shows that you're a leader. So that's one thing I learned. And then I'll also emphasize on the communication. It's important that we communicate well and make things clear. As Isako mentioned, we are a team, so we should all know what's going on clearly. If she says one person has something to do, I can misunderstand and say that, oh, why do we all have a task and one person has something that is more important? Does she want to go and sleep or go shopping? That's why she can join us. But if she makes it clear that, oh, she's also doing something important as a group, because as it's part of our duty this week for her to give a speech, so the communication is important. But I like the fact that we also listened to each other. There was no conflict. Like, she gave an opinion, we listened, we argued a little bit, but we all at the end of the day agreed on what to do here. So yeah, that's
Oh, we should ask question or give him?
You can share your reflection as
It's
well.
up to them.
You can share your reflection. Yeah, you can share your reflection. Because we've all learned a lot. It's not just all of us. And there might be an experience you want to share that would be useful for someone else. So.
Yeah. To me, I came in with, I had a whole shopping list of problems before coming here. So I came here with a lot of expectations. And Mandela Washington Fellowship, Karen and the rest of the team, they're giving us massive information. And I know some of us are having problem with filtering. I've got some communications background, that's why you see me documenting different sectors. Already, my notebook is quite messy because I'm gathering bits of solution to different things. And I can tell you one thing, Oliver, I have to be hunting you. We had challenges with public leadership, and I have relationship with a lot of television stations back home. And while we were going through that session, the learning, I started processing, how can we develop like a practical leadership? People are tired with facilitations, PowerPoint. How can we do practical sessions like this that people could realize themselves in a public or state television? Not with the leaders themselves, but maybe work with students or young activists and be pulling up this thing. Can that change the situation? So I had that one logged in my notebook, and every day we're picking up quotes, and also to see how best we can inform a society, because coming here we were literally blind on what was going to happen. The few alumni we interacted with were just going to say, it is tough. It's going to be challenging, let's be honest. But coming here, I don't know what the challenges are, to be honest.
Well,
I haven't seen that kind of, but the good part keeps coming, and we all are trying so much, and you all are amazing people. And to me, I started getting solutions to the very many problems I listed in my shopping list. So each night I go back to my laptop, this is solved. and also a follow-up with Dr. Defota later on. So your names are all my Excel sheets. I'll have to be chasing you. Oliver's got a number of action points. So coming. So that's what it gives us. And let's don't lose sight of that excitement. We might not see ourselves after 6 weeks, but jot who you need for certain things and maintain relationship. I can bet you don't have your neighbors or your roommate's email address, and it's just Karen and Jenny and Oliver. It's one of the points we need to break through. Communications is key. Let's manage it and put it together. I think I've said to some of you why I do videos. It might not be interesting to you. You might say Diamond likes to put everything on videos. We have a society next to feed. And sometimes feeding someone is not just by giving food. Teach the person how to fish. And you can't be giving the person fish anymore. That was one Ignite talk at the Mandela, Washington, that one of the ladies did. And this is what we should do as a cohort. We want to write and publish for this cohort. We want to leave a couple of documentaries to say, okay, E.C. Davis, 10th cohort or 6th cohort did X, Y, and Z. And we want society to keep remembering us for what we do. So already as part of our discussion, Karen, we were looking as a team to develop an annual plan amongst ourselves as cohort. And now we can get virtual engagement throughout 1 year to be engaging ourselves to change the world on a variety of issues. As the expert in that area will lead a conversation on Twitter chat or Facebook Live or YouTube Live. So we're having all of this conversation going in. So when we reach out to you, it's not being forcey. I'm an extrovert by nature. You have to bear with me. And I love when I do the Clifton, I love pulling people to get things going. And so please bear with me. I know some of you don't like it, but if we need to change the world, we need to get off our comfort zone a bit and be tolerative. Yeah, that's my learning. Thank you so much.
And this is also a feedback session, so if you have a problem, a challenge you've had, you can also bring that up as well.
Maybe I just want some tips on the starting point. I left my country, I'm a supervisor there, but I can mention that I left my team somehow demoralized. They were so active, they used to do certain things, but then they ended up, somehow losing hope, somehow mentioning things that no, we don't feel being encouraged anymore. It could be perhaps to the things that I'm doing maybe, or the things that I used to do, but I stopped doing them. Simple things like not leading by example, for example, coming on time, things like that. So now I feel that inspiration as a leader after this. Now just maybe some tips on how to engage them and get them somehow motivated again. What activity should I do, or what should really be a starting point? Because I want to pick them up, I want them to function, and so that we work together to collectively achieve our goals as an organization. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, yeah, thank you. What you actually said has taken me to understand what my roommate is doing on a daily basis. Like, I see her doing that, and I think it's a very good practice. If you have left a team back at home, and we all know our teams, that it's not really strong to stand on itself without you, probably. So practice kind of a soft delegation. So you delegate that you support remotely whenever possible, but you also need to identify the strength of your individual team members. So you pinpoint, for this particular issue, who am I supposed to speak to? Who am I supposed to encourage such that they're going to encourage their fellows? So I think I keep learning that from Julian as she keeps communicating every day. I will hear her, okay, for this issue I need to speak to this person. For this issue I'm calling this one. And for me it's a total learning. And I think we can do delegation, yes, as part of leadership, but we also don't want to ruin our teams. You don't want to get back home and everything is shambled. So we have to practice some kind of a soft delegation if our teams back home are not so strong, and we still have to be there. I think if possible you still have to be there, so that when you go back the thing will always like continue. You don't want to go back and your team is done, your work is ruined, your projects are, I don't know. So that's my opinion.
I think before we open up, what I want to add is that you may not have done this before you got here, but it's not too late. Identify one person in that team and make sure that person has all the information available to support everybody else, because you are here and they can only reach you virtually. And sometimes they may need your presence, but then they may not be able to get in touch with you. But that one person is going to be there with them day in, day out. Make sure the person has all the details, information they need about whatever task that you need them to complete, so that they can always follow on that person if they can't get in touch with you. And that should be your trusted confidant, or more like your partner here who gets things going as you are here.
And just to add that before you open it to everyone, I like what both Misty and Buddha spoke about. The follow-up is important, I would say. As a leader, you don't want to make people feel like you've left them alone. You are the eye for them, so you should continually follow up. And then maybe when you leave here, whatever you learn from the experiences we are having, the games we are playing, you should be able to go and share it with them. You understand? And then I feel like listening to them is also a good point. Try and understand them individually. Okay, why are you feeling like this? Know each of them. As you're leading them, you should know the people you are leading, understand their strengths, their weaknesses, and then deal with each and every one in a particular. Of course, it's a team, but know each of them and know how to relate with each of them. Of course, even here, I would say that the way Ms. Lee will relate with me is different from how she relates with you, even though we are a team. But maybe for somebody, you can call them Tapiwa, they'll be okay with that. But for somebody, you want to show them a certain type of respect. So you should also know your people in real and know how to relate with them. And the best part is you are here to learn leadership skills. So whatever you learn here, when you go back, implement it. From the games, play with them. I was asking Olivia for the names because when I go back, I want to go and literally implement them, and I feel like they'll be a change.
Yeah. So if I get you well, you asking for a tip how to maintain your team back home while you're here. So is that a question?
I just want to inspire them again, so that they feel demoralized, not just because of my coming here, but even during my time when I was there, where you find that people were looking up to coming to work every time. When they are approaching tasks, they are doing with enthusiasm, but you realize now everyone is like, oh yeah, somehow, just to...
So for me, from what I would say, I guess you have a group, a WhatsApp group that you're in. So for on a daily basis, what I would say is either you send a voice note to them as a source of encouragement, or just make a video like you talking to them as if you are with them. I think that will keep them on their toes. So I think you need to do that on the ability to motivate them. Just a short, you can call it, do a selfie video and talk to them and encourage them that that's it, so you'll be back and they should not be laggard because you're not there. Continue to encourage them through videos every day. And also get feedback from one person, as Oda said, that will be giving feedback of the group. How has it been doing when you're not there? So on the basis on the feedback, you get to know what you will say on the other video the next day. So I think you should be doing the video if for now that you are here till you get back home.
Even yesterday, I think I learned the best practice. I think when one of the members is not doing something, that is in confinement with the expectations of other members, when we're having a meeting, then we have to indicate to tell that no, it's not okay. As a group, we need to follow this, something like that. Sometimes as supervisors or leaders, you can see a person is doing something that is not in confinement with what is expected, but you somehow keep quiet or just leave it. But it's like a cancer; it keeps growing and growing if you let it go. I think I learned yesterday. It was very impressive. I get to think about it. That okay, sometimes you just need to tell the person that no, what you are doing is not okay, you need to stop or something like that.
So last comment.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Just make it short and brief.
Yeah, I'll be short. Thank you very much. On Monday we did a game of 3 cycles, and this keeps coming in my mind. I wonder that many of us, maybe we are in the second second cycle of the intermediate managers, where we have this fear of losing our jobs when we are open to speak to our top leaders. How do you, how can we engage in this process of making our top leaders change and be the good leaders, yet we still have this fear of even losing our jobs? We have to be honest with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a practical example to that. I was sharing with some of my club fellows. There was one time when we had, it was a training, a 5-day training session, and the schedule that was sent to us by my boss was we are going to be having a stipend of certain amount of money. So we all had that in mind, and we are going with the flow. Not for us to get at the end of the training and there was nothing. And I was like, what is it? And they've changed the schedule. I said, you changed and you didn't get back to us to say there's a change of schedule. So we had that competition between me and him. He's my project manager. So what I did, I went back to the office and reported to our programs manager. So by the time I was reporting, this programs manager, the project manager was entering into the office. So my boss was like, I was going to stop explaining what this man did to me, and I continued to explain. So I just think you need to be true to yourself. I told him that if you need to be a good leader, you need to have effective communication. If you have communicated with us from the moment that, oh, we have changed the schedule and this is this, then we will have a playing field. But he hid the information from us until the last day, and I was so bold to talk to him. And after which he came back to me and said, yes, you did well, even though I accepted I was wrong, and I'm going to work on my communication skills. So most times we need to stand up to them. When they do something wrong, we are all humans. The worst you can do is to lose your job, or you said that you said something that's the right thing. So I was up to him, and he realized his mistakes, and he promised to be working on his communication skills. So that's a practical example for me.
Kelsey.
So yes, I wanted to add something to what Lot was talking about team. It's just like a take home. For me, I used to tell my team that they are all I got. And my team, I used to tell them I'm all you got. So when you have that relationship where we have total dependency on the fact that I am the executive director does not matter. You people are all I have. If you do not meet up with your tasks, I have not met up with my tasks. I have not met up with my own tasks, you have not met up with your own tasks. So there's always this codependency on each other. So it's just let them know they are all you have and we are all they have.
We should wrap up?
Yeah.
I think so.
Wow. Thank you so much, guys, for your engagement. Huda will do the final.
No, you delegation.
Okay, sure. So thank you for listening to us. It's an experience, as we are the first people to be here. So I'm sure there are things we could have done better.
The second group.
So learn. Yes, the second group should learn from our mistakes and do better. And then just want to thank the UC Davis team as well for the opportunity to do these things. It's also part of leadership training. I'm sure most of us already do these things, but some of us it's something new. So it's an experience, and we are grateful that we get to be exposed to such things. Thank you.
You did a wonderful job. Thank you for setting the stage for everyone else. Much appreciated. Okay, we have a little bit of a shortened lunch over what we expected, but you're all great leaders. You're punctual. The lunch place is pretty close, right?
Yeah.
You can do it, right?
Yeah.
It's because we have a very amazing person coming to talk to you this afternoon at 1:30, and you don't want to be late for this Mr. Oliver Hack. Okay? So we will see you back here at 1:30 at the absolute latest, maybe 1:25, just to be good, yeah? So have a good lunch. Yes, a question.
So this is how we have further reflection, and guys have shared quite an amazing beat, and let's keep the learning.
Cheeks and Kelsey.